who is going to be the moderator for this panel. So thank you again.
Okay, hey, thanks for joining us this morning. Yeah, I feel very honored to moderate the panel here. Some of these folks I've worked with in years past, or many years at Motorola, so it's a joy to have this opportunity. Yeah, so the way we'll structure things today is the first hour we're going to ask each of our presenters to present for about 10 minutes or so. And then the second hour, we'll have a directed Q&A session. And I'd ask then that you would hold your questions for the presenters perhaps after the session is concluded. You can go up and speak with them or exchange business cards or what have you. So we are on a bit of a time schedule here, so I think we'll just go ahead and get started. Our first presenter this morning is Commander Lewin. Again, I worked with Commander Lewin about 15 years ago on a project, and I've seen him a few times since. He is the Managing Deputy Director of Public Safety Information for the City of Chicago. And yeah, please. Thanks.
I'm going to run through this very quickly, so if there's questions at the end, feel free to ask. We have, what, 10 minutes?
About that, yeah.
About 10 minutes. So I'm going to start out just with a little bit of background on Chicago and the Chicago Police Department. The city is divided into 3 police areas. We have 280 beats in the city. We're the second largest police department in the United States. Everything that we do with technology here is designed to provide information to first responders, police, fire, our emergency management colleagues. So our goal is to try to leverage all the data that we have, all the information that we have across all of our systems, and be able to turn that into things that officers can use, for example, to do their jobs more effectively. These are some of the information sources that we have access to in what we call our CLEAR system. CLEAR is the Citizen and Law Enforcement Analysis and Reporting Application. It's one of the largest transaction police databases in the U.S. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about the CLEAR system, and then I'll talk about video and how we're using cameras for situational awareness. So one thing we do with all this data is allow officers to have access to maps. Our platform for mapping is called Caboodle. Very interactive, easy to use. It's available on both desktops and mobile computers. We have about 5,500 desktops in the environment, close to 3,000 mobile computers, primarily top-book computers that are in police vehicles on commercial cellular connections on Verizon right now. So this is a citywide map, for example, showing public violence by beat, just a density map. This is public violence and contact cards, so you can see where police are conducting street stops in the context of where violence activity is occurring. Gang conflicts, so there's a number of active criminal gangs in the city. This platform allows officers to very quickly map and track gangs, gang conflicts, gang members, gang arrests. These are gang conflicts in the city. You can see a citywide map here with the conflict locations. This is one district in the city on the south side, the 2nd Police District, showing active gang conflicts in that district. Officers can very quickly click on a faction and bring up a faction sheet, information sheet, which shows them who that gang conflict, that gang faction is in conflict with, and which arrestees are associated or affiliated with that faction. Then you can drill down into the data. You can see their mugshots. You can see their arrest history, their charges. This is information on a specific gang conflict. This faction is involved in selling narcotics. It's an ongoing low-level threat in a certain police area. This is what a screenshot of the mobile version of this looks like. So again, this is available on 3,000 mobile computers as well. We use a number of dashboards, primarily Oracle Business Intelligence dashboards, to track everything from officer behavior. So this is one unit. This is all test data, but it would allow a supervisor or command staff member to look at performance of their subordinate employees. So things like how many arrests they've made, how many citizen contacts they've had, how many firearms they've recovered, search warrants they've been involved in, etc. Same kind of dashboard functionality can be applied to total buildings. So in this case, we're looking at buildings in a certain part of the city with variables that you see on the top right of the screen, weighted in a way that the user can select ahead of time. So if they want to weight incidents, arrests at the location, police or fire calls for service, citizen contacts, gang conflicts at that location, they can weight those and then generate a ranked order list, drill down into the data. Same thing with schools. So this is a dashboard that lets you perform those same kinds of activities on schools, and this is integrated with mapping as well. FIMS is an application that lets us track critical facilities in the city. So everything from schools to hospitals to government installations are all tracked, mapped, accessible on mobile and desktop computers. Things like floor plans, evacuation routes, again, available to first responders, very interactively. This is an example of a floor plan. Another thing that we rolled out recently is link chart analysis. This is based partially on the work of Dr. Papachristos now at Yale, but it's looking at criminal networks. So it's looking at criminal subjects who have been arrested with other criminal subjects. So the user can very quickly go in and see that this subject in the center of the screen has been arrested in other incidents with the people shown in that outer ring. So you can get a sense of who's operating with who across these criminal networks. And you can go up to 4 degrees of associates by just clicking on any of those nodes. It'll automatically recenter on that node, and then at the top of the screen you can increase the depth. Again, most of this technology is available in the cars as well. Should I have audio here?
We have a lot of problems with gang activity, narcotic offenders, sellers, buyers, gang violence.
I was an Area 4 violent crimes detective in the mid to late 80s. If we had to get information on an offender's past arrest, we'd have to drive all the way downtown.
Before, if you wanted to get an arrest that was from years ago, you'd have to make an inquiry to Records Division downtown.
We'd have to fill out a form to get pictures of all the force. We'd have to fill out a form to get arrests.
It may take a few days before you get that information back.
So that's really the key, is that it's now available in real time where the officers need it, which is on the street, quickly. Designed to save officer time, help identify criminals, help identify gang activity, improve safety for both officers and citizens. ClearPath is our public access website, and at this point we can show it. So this is available if you go to chicagopolice.org. This went up in 2008, funded in part by a grant from the MacArthur Foundation, designed to better engage the community through technology, through this website. This is going to be rebranded in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. But right now there's a ton of interactive features here for the public. I think we share more crime information with citizens than any other major department in the country. You can also, I'm sure you've seen, if you go to data.cityofchicago.org, you'll see interactive data sets from hundreds of different data sets, including crimes going back to 2001. But this lets users very quickly and easily generate maps showing crime conditions in their neighborhoods. Things like sex offenders, there's now gun registration, gun offenders are also shown, most wanted people. University of Illinois at Chicago helped us evaluate the community engagement process in the development of this website. Very positive results. People were very satisfied with the process, and we were very happy to see that. The city's Office of Emergency Management and Communications is the agency that is charged with not only providing dispatch functions for police and fire, but also emergency management for the city. So OEMC is one of the users of this technology. In the city's what's called the OC, which is the operations center, where thousands of surveillance cameras can be viewed in real time, and the same information is also available at police districts and the Police Fusion Center, which is a police headquarters. So I'm going to show you one of the tools that's used there is called WebEOC, which is again used for situational awareness during major events, used by both the city and the county, and the state uses it as well, the state of Illinois. An application that we used for the first time during last year's NATO summit in summer of 2012 was called WindyGrid, and the goal is to take all spatially enabled data from any source that we have, whether it's spatially enabled tweets, cameras, bus tracking on 2,500 Chicago Transit buses, building permit violation data. It integrates with WebEOC, police and fire calls for service, 301 city service calls, police-related information. Plug all this into a common operating picture map, which is accessible via the web, via secure connection, and can then be used to quickly create a common operating platform for major planned or unplanned events. One thing this also links into, and this is just a heat map, it also links to an application platform called VidSys. So this is cameras in the city, and you see they're pretty much located in every part of the city. But the user can very quickly shell out into a video session with VidSys and bring up real-time camera video. Cameras in Chicago, the program is called Operation Virtual Shield, OVS. The program actually started in 2003 with 30 cameras that will record on site only, big boxy cameras that cost about $35,000 each. Over the years, this program has greatly expanded. The number of cameras has grown exponentially. Additional funding sources are now used, everything from grant funding to every alderman in the city can use what's called menu money, which are discretionary funds that they have access to make neighborhood improvements. And about 365 plus cameras were installed from automatic menu funds, some Department of Justice grant funds, narcotic seizure funds, some corporate funds. And again, this kind of shows you the evolution of cameras from the big boxy design to the newest design. And there's actually yet a newer design, which looks like this. We call it an LPOD, which has a lot of technology integrated into the camera, so it can be very flexibly installed in a variety of locations and supports a variety of connection methods, everything from wireless. There's an integrated wireless radio to, if we can put it directly on the fiber, which is great when we can do it. There's a fiber transceiver built in. So this can be very quickly, easily, and relatively inexpensively installed. This slide's old. We now have over 22,000 cameras in what we call the Federation. So this is one of the most advanced municipal camera federation platforms in the country. Other jurisdictions have a lot of cameras, but we have more cameras that are integrated. Partner agencies, Chicago Transit Authority, public schools, city colleges, aviation, park district, and so on, and city-owned cameras. There's close to 2,000 city-owned cameras and 20,000 other cameras. Again, all available for real-time viewing in various places. We also have some mobile assets, 4 helicopters, some video trucks that can be very quickly deployed to gather real-time video information. Video is viewable in any of the 22 police districts, the Fusion Center, Crime Prevention and Information Center, that's at headquarters, and at OEMC, Office of Emergency Management. Let's go through some of this stuff. This is just a video clip. This is kind of an example of one of thousands of cases where video has been used. No audio on this. A couple of shots fired at a public housing location. This building has since been torn down. It's a couple of years ago. Cabrini Green. So 4 subjects are leaving the building. They're gonna hide 2 weapons in the trunk of that vehicle. And this video is being monitored at the nearby police district, in the 18th district. And by now, the officer who's monitoring this is calling this in over the voice radio, directing responding units to the location, describing the subjects, describing the vehicle where they hit the weapons. They also concealed the keys to that vehicle in the wheel well of another vehicle. So this officers were able to respond directly to the scene and arrest the offenders for felony charges for unlawful use of weapons for adults. This is an older video. I'm just showing this as an example of how video was used before it could be viewed remotely in real time. So this was record outside only from 2005. The subject in the lower left got shot. The offender was in the striped shirt. So this video was used post-event by detectives to identify, apprehend, arrest, and charge the offender. Shots. We're using a grant from the Transit Security Administration to increase the bandwidth to provide more video connectivity to our districts. So we're able to deliver more real-time video streams. We'll also be adding analytics. It'll be off-the-shelf things like subject loitering, alert on a subject loitering in a certain location. We're not going to do facial recognition. We're going to be doing facial matching with another technology, but not facial recognition. So this will just alert when the subject is standing too long at that location. During the NATO Summit last year, we also, through a gift from Motorola, used some LTE broadband equipment to provide redundant communications in the area of the event. And we use this to support a number of activities, including mass arrest processing, video delivery to fixed and mobile command posts, windy grid delivery, a variety of other, we had 200 Android smartphones deployed with real-time video streaming access, 100 Android tablets. This was one of our single largest technology deployments for any single event. So this was the device we used for real-time arrest processing in the field. What we're working on right now is trying to get funding to move that LTE equipment from the area that it is now to a police district. It will let us use some laptops, and laptops we already have in the cars, but increase bandwidth to deliver video more effectively out to the vehicles. And this will be a test that will kind of, we think, position us for FirstNet in the future. This is I stole this from Joe. This is just a very simple network diagram of how this will look. We'll also integrate with a gunshot detection system that we have deployed called ShotSpotter. So gunshot detection, cameras, mapping, computer-aided dispatch, all this will be even better situational awareness for first responders in the field. So that's the approximate coverage area of the deployment. The last thing I'm going to talk about, and Dr. Miles Wernick from Illinois Institute of Technology is our academic lead on this project. He'll talk a little bit more about it. But Chicago received a $3 million grant from NIJ to leverage all this data that we have to make predictions about what might be likely to happen in the future based on history. So there'll be every data source that we have that's meaningful will be used, and I'll also talk a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. I'm going to ask Miles, if you might come up